intelligent and ambitious young man who has always been interested in science and secrets of life. He always had dreams of becoming the discoverer of something unusual and unprecedented. After going to university, he dedicated all his time to studying anatomy, chemistry, and natural philosophy. There were many nights when he read books, performed experiments, and sought after the mystery of bringing life to dead things. With each gained piece of knowledge, his ambitions raised to even higher levels. He thought that with the help of science, he could beat death and elevate humanity on a new level. At first, he dreamed of being remembered as one of the most prominent scientists of his time. But his obsession made him to ignore his family, friends, and even health. He locked himself in the laboratory since he considered it to be the most important thing in his life. He never wondered about the moral correctness of his intention. On the contrary, he was very much fascinated with the idea of proving the world that he was able to do what others couldn't. Victor had managed to construct the most incredible invention after months of relentless efforts and endless experiments. He constructed the body of a man from various body parts and prepared the lad for the ultimate experiment on a stormy night. Gradually, the creature began opening its eyes and breathing. Victor had succeeded in doing something which seemed impossible at the very beginning. He had managed to create life out of nothing. Unfortunately, Victor could not feel any sense of pride and joy regarding his creation and got horrified instead because of the creature's huge size, pale skin, stitched body, and monstrous appearance. The wonderful dream that used to motivate him now turned into a terrible nightmare. Refusing to take the responsibility for his creation, Victor fled away, leaving the creature alone in the world that was unknown to him. As a baby, this being knew absolutely nothing about mankind, language, or even emotions. Just like a newborn baby, it was pure, innocent, and confused. Unfortunately, everybody who encountered this monster evaluated it based on its scary appearance. Whenever this being tried to approach people in order to get some sympathy from them, it was either attack, chase away, or run after screaming. Even Victor, the man who created it, refused to accept it. The monster could not understand why it scared and was hated by everyone. Even though the monster itself looked horrible, it was not born evil. It just needed somebody who would help, nurture, and teach it. However, all the monster received were loneliness and rejection. Gradually, all of the suffering led the monster to be confused and sad. With no place to go, the monster roamed around forests, mountains, and villages. It sustained itself by picking berries, drinking water from rivers, and avoiding contact with people. Every day, it watched humans having a wonderful time with their family members, whereas it was utterly alone. Though the monster seemed to be very strong, inside, it was feeling very weak. It wanted friends, love, and acceptance, just like any human does. It used to think about how people always judge it without knowing its real nature. The monster began to realize that being alone was becoming very difficult. It didn't want to harm anybody. Rather, it wanted to be understood and accepted one day. However, all the effort it made to make humans ended up in terror and violence. It became very frustrated with the world because it was sure that it would never fit in anywhere. Once, It happened to see the cottage of the GLEA1052 family. The creature did not announce its presence right away, but decided to observe the family at a distance and listen to what they say while working and caring for each other. Through observing the family, it managed to learn how to speak, read, and feel what people feel. It learned the meanings of kindness, compassion, friendship, and love. What impressed the monster most is how much they respect each other even in difficult times. It hoped that if it learns how to speak their language and be polite enough, they might accept him. It experienced happiness for the first time, thinking about its future acceptance into the family. However, when the family members actually met the creature, they were scared of it and drove it away. Having undergone rejection after rejection, the monster finally met Victor and faced him. Rather than attack him at once, the monster explained all that had been going on since its creation. It spoke about its loneliness and pain, as well as the way people had treated it, without ever comprehending its soul. After that, it simply asked one thing of Victor. It asked him to create another monster, a companion which would love him despite everything and live beside him far from human society. Victor was ready to do that at first because he felt guilty about leaving his monster alone. But during the process of creation of the new monster, he became scared of what might follow. Full of horror, he ruined the not yet finished companion of his monster. The monster saw all that and felt utterly betrayed. Feeling devastated and angry, the creature realized that if it could never know happiness, then Victor would never know it either. It told Victor that he too would experience loneliness and suffering just like it did. After that, Victor's little brother William was found dead. An innocent young woman called Justine was convicted of the crime despite being innocent and was put to death for the crime she never committed. Victor knew who did it, but Victor could not speak up because no one believed him due to the incredible nature of his story. This led to yet another innocent death. With each death, Victor realized that what he regretted the most was not making the creature, but leaving it alone. The monster carried out the punishment on Victor. The monster killed Henry Clerval, who was Victor's best friend, and made him heartbroken and guilty. Tragedy occurred yet again in the future, when it was Victor's wedding day. While Victor looked for the monster outside, the monster entered their home and killed Victor's wife, Elizabeth. Victor had lost practically everyone he cared about. His parents, friends, his brother, and his wife had all faced trouble due to Victor's ambition and bad decisions. Flooded with grief, Victor blamed himself for each of the deaths. He realized that all the tragedies could have been avoided if he had only taken control of his monster from the start. In his quest to end the life of the creature forever, Victor spared no time to pursue it across Europe and into the cold Arctic. His pursuit was an ordeal fueled by hate, guilt, and revenge. At times, the creature would elude him but left traces that pushed him on. The extreme conditions of the Arctic proved his physical strength and determination. In spite of being tired, hungry, and cold, Victor did not relent. Eventually, Victor grew too tired to go on. His physical self failed to withstand the tough journey, and he fell to exhaustion. Upon the death of Victor, the creature showed up silently next to the body. The creature saw the person who had created it and found neither anger nor satisfaction. What it found was sadness and regret. The creature confessed that revenge did not make it happy, but brought suffering, loneliness, and death. The creature expressed its wish and came to know that it would not be the same for both of them had they shown each other some kindness. Feeling very sad about everything, the creature decided to end its existence by living in the cold, frozen wasteland. The lesson learned from the book Frankenstein is that irresponsible knowledge may lead to bad results. Rejection, loneliness, and lack of compassion can turn the kindest soul into an angry one. And most important of all, people should not be judged according to how they look.